I know I open most podcasts by saying this is a big deal, or you got to listen to this one, or we got some big news here to unveil here at Neishloss and Fleming. And while I mean it for every one of those shows, this really, really is a big deal, especially in a market here in our home state, in a major market here, even in the country. And this is now a major relationship that Neishloss and Fleming has with a carrier that's really dominating that area. And I am talking about the Philadelphia market, so the other side of the state from where we're based out of in Pittsburgh. And I am talking about Independent Blue Cross, IBX, as we are now working with IBX here at Neishloss and Fleming. This is another edition of the NF podcast here. I am your host, Mike Asti, and of course, this one is presented by Neishloss and Fleming and Integrity Marketing Group. And as I said, I am going to talk about our now relationship with IBX, our contract with IBX, and how that is going to help our agents and that area even more, and what's kind of going on with Independent Blue Cross and with IBX in the Philadelphia market. And even some agents kind of work on the outskirts there in Delaware and Jersey and those areas that maybe in flux into Philly to get some cheesesteaks and sell some Medicare, and what's kind of going on there. To do this, I am going to be joined by the Medicare broker executive for that area in Tor Heilman. Tor, thanks for joining me on the show. This is a big deal for sure. I know this is a big deal for us to have this relationship now going strong, and knowing that area and knowing IBX in that market and what this could mean to our agents and any agents we may work in the future. It's definitely a big deal, but I appreciate you joining me here for the show.
Glad to be here, Mike. This is exciting for us as well. Bringing Neishloss and Fleming on board has been over a year process, so we're really excited to have you guys.
Yeah, it has. That kind of segues into where I'm going to get you started, because I actually was going through questions and kind of what we wanted to talk about here. And we know the carrier, but my boss and I were thinking, you know what? This has been a year process. We understand major carriers, and sometimes that is a long process, but we're here at Neishloss and Fleming. We've kind of been in the Medicare industry for a while. We kind of know the market. We certainly know our home state of Pennsylvania very well. Granted, we're based on the west side of things in Pittsburgh, but just out of curiosity, that kind of opens the door here to what was it finally about Neishloss and Fleming, us here as an FMO, in terms of what we do, in terms of our standing, that finally made you guys at IBX pull the trigger? Because there has been conversations for a while. It's been kind of a year in the making, but even some rumblings prior to that, it was definitely something that we wanted to be involved in. We knew to dominate the Philadelphia market, we had to be involved with this carrier. But what kind of made this happen, since it hadn't happened prior?
Well, we're definitely looking for growth. And Neishloss and Fleming, you guys are known for a really top line broker distribution model with good quality and results. We always aspire to have the top quality results for product, services, and engagement with our brokers. So we're looking for those qualities in an FMO partner, and you, like our other partners, have those qualities.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we do, in terms of, priding ourselves on service, in terms of knowing the market and always having somebody available to talk to somebody. We definitely always have somebody, whether it be myself or someone else, available to guide agents through the process of contracting, marketing, different strategies, things like that, even education. And I'm sure you're also aware we have a lot at our disposal in terms of Medicare Center as an online enrollment platform, which is big, especially during the pandemic. The agents can send an email and get the sale off and do a lot else on that site as well with a quote engine, etc. We have programs like Greenhouse, which can elicit Amazon points in addition to agents' normal commissions, and even a relationship with a former agent who kind of takes the workload away from agents that we're working with in terms of helping them create and maintain a website, and as well as social channels. So that we have a lot to offer, but Independent Blue Cross has a lot to offer us in terms of already dominating and establishing yourself in the market, and then we're kind of joining in. But I know we're excited about the partnership as well, so I'm glad you guys are excited. Again, here, Mike Asti speaking on the NF podcast about our now contract and our relationship with IBX and what's going on in the Philadelphia market. Speaking here with Tor Heilman, the Medicare broker executive for the area. Now, Tor, speaking now on the carrier, because some of our agents maybe don't yet have this carrier, maybe aren't as aware because, say, they would love Neishloss and Fleming and were working with us, but didn't have the ability to add that contract on prior to this relationship. So, kind of now getting in the nitty gritty on why, if you're working in the Philadelphia market and if your agent is serious about the senior market, why this is one that has to be, it really does, has to be in your portfolio. What are two big reasons why agents who are working in the Philadelphia market must have IBX? What would you say are two things that I know why, they definitely do,
Mm.
it's a fact, but what are two major reasons if you got to convince somebody that they got to be working with IBX if they're in that area?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons, but I'll go with my top two here. We're administratively easy to do business with. We have the brand, we got the
Right.
broker support, we have sales opportunities through partnerships. Our member experience is by far the best. We have the largest provider network in the Philadelphia area. So the 5 counties around Philadelphia, we have the largest provider network for our Medicare Advantage plans. And then you and your clients, they're always taken care of with the Blue Cross. You can carry a blue card and you're just taken care of in the Philadelphia area. Second reason is our products. We have the Keystone 65 basic HMO and the
Yep.
Personal Choice 65 PPO. They sell themselves. They're both $0 premiums in all 5 counties. Again, largest network of area doctors. No referrals required. We require fewer prior authorization than our competitors. That means you get less red tape for your clients. We have 90 days supply of tier 1 and tier 2 generics at a preferred pharmacy, and we only charge 2 copays for that, so it's a 60-day copay, so it's 2/3 the price. And all of our individual Medicare plans have the same drug formulary. So if someone's deciding which plan they want, you only got to check their drugs once. You don't got to check them for every single plan you're looking at.
Yeah, and again, you actually kind of segued into the next question there a little bit with the plans, but those are excellent reasons, and it makes sense. These plans are good plans, they're quality plans. They're serving the clients, making it easy for agents to get these sales. These are going to be plans that clients are going to want just by seeing them in terms of what's offered. And then yeah, the brand is there, the standing is there. You know, clients are going to want to have comfortability. I also got to mention here in terms of our relationship now working here at Neishloss and Fleming with IBX, we're also doing a lot to really help that relationship early on, to help dominate that market early on with a major lead campaign we got going in terms of getting lead mailers in your hand by getting one app and just by submitting IBX through Medicare Center. I mean, using that type of platform and getting that submitted is a big deal, and we automatically can get leads in your hand that that we're putting together. We're putting the money in. We're making sure that we can help our client or help our agents help those clients. So we're putting money in, and we're getting leads in your hand just by working with IBX and getting that app off. And the more you sell, the more you're moving into the footprint, the more leads we're going to give you, which makes sense, but more reason and motivation to keep on moving. Now, Tor, you mentioned a little bit of the plans there. You mentioned the Keystone 65. That's right there, the one that jumps out at me. I know that's our directive to make sure agents are aware of that one because that one is going to sell itself. You can talk about that one further, but any other ones, just out of curiosity, in terms of plans that you're noticing are experiencing a lot of growth to this
Yep.
point? What are some plans that are experiencing growth that, again, agents got to be aware of and got to bring up to their clients? Because having the contract is one thing, but you're not going to be able to bring up every plan, and you don't even need to.
hmm
These are plans that you bring up and they're going to be interested in.
Yeah, so the Keystone 65 Basic RX HMO that we talked about already, that's a fantastic plan. But then we also have our new Personal Choice 65 Prime PPO. We launched it first time this year. $0 premium plan. They are in all 5 counties. They all include prescription drugs, over-the-counter benefit, telemedicine, and more. So clients always are choosing between either the Keystone 65 Basic or the Personal Choice PPO plan. That's going to be the plans for most of your clients.
Yeah, and those anything more about those plans that makes them so great? I mean, I know the Keystone 65, but what would you say in terms of those plans diving in makes those plans that are going to be attractive?
$0 premium is the number one thing that comes to mind. Then you have the largest network in the area on
Right,
both of those plans.
right.
A really strong formulary where you don't have drugs hidden. Like some of our competitors will put a generic drug in a tier 3 or 4. You look at our plans, where the drugs are makes sense.
Right.
No hidden surprises on them, lower required prior authorizations, and no referrals on either of those plans.
Okay. Yeah, and those are two big deals and two things to note for sure. Again, here talking with Tor Heilman, the Medicare broker executive with IBX, which if you're an agent in the Philadelphia market, if you're on the east side of PA, this is a carrier you got to have because this is one that's dominating that area and now one that we're working with here at Neishloss and Fleming. And as I said, we got a big lead promotion going on that we're putting money into this program to help agents dominate that area even more. And any agents not already working with this carrier, even more reason to do so. So give us a call here at Neishloss and Fleming. We'll give you even more details on what's going on with our lead program, what's going on with our relationship now with IBX. But Tor, this is a carrier that you got to have. This is a carrier that's been established. It has a name brand. It's having success. Again, the Keystone 65 plan RX does sell itself in a way. But as you know, agents are always going to bring up that there are some challenges. They're always going to tell you that there are clients that just want to be negative. There's negative Nancy's out there and negative Neds. There's going to be some things that maybe aren't perfect that maybe this year are better than they were before. So IBX is obviously an established brand. It has a pedigree of success in the market. Those things go without saying. Those things are fact. No one can dispute those. But what would you say is one area that you would kind of be able to spell those concerns for those agents by telling them we've spent time in the last year trying to improve this? What's one area that you guys put an emphasis in trying to improve, making sure those negatives aren't as loud? And obviously we don't have to disparage any competitor, but in terms of answering the bell and responding to what somebody else was doing, which one area or maybe more than one that you guys spent time trying to improve?
Thanks for the more than one, because we have a process here at Independence Blue Cross. Every year we reach out, get feedback from our provider partners, our brokers, our call center, and then
Right.
we pour through competitive data to make sure we have the best plans in the area.
Right.
So I would say plan benefits, we worked hard on those every year. Member experience, we really make sure that we're going for those stars and we're helping our members as much as possible. And then the tools that we provide our members and the tools that we provide our brokers. So I was going to talk about member experience. In our call centers, the thing we're really focused on is first call resolution. So that's incredibly important to us. We want to make sure that your member gets the right answer the first time around. And then for tools, we're constantly improving the portal experience for your members, public-facing websites, and then the broker tools. Every year we go through a review and an improvement process on those. And then we want anyone who engages with us, either if it's an agent or your member, to have the best experience possible. So we really strive every year to look at what we've done, look what we've done well, look what we could improve, and just make sure we improve on those.
Yeah, and it's good to have that maturity and realize that nothing's perfect. And despite being a carrier that's having success in an area, despite being an established brand, there's still room for improvement. And sometimes carriers that are at your level feel like I'm just going to keep on going and people are going to want to work with us just for the brand name alone. And that certainly may get you some sales and still may get you some success. You can kind of play in neutral and still do well, but it's definitely a great thing to know that you're a carrier that's willing to improve and answering what people are saying and looking into that. Now, and I also will tell you from looking at all the carriers out there, and not to name any here on the show, that the producer tools and being able to actually go in there and have an easy experience, sending apps and working with support, that is a major deal. I know that there's some carriers that struggle with that, and some agents have said, I know the plan's good, but I don't want to work with this because I don't want to have to deal with these hiccups and this hassle of this particular website. So to improve on that and make sure that's even easier and can go as smooth as possible is wonderful. And it also makes mine and the rest of our team's job easier. Now, you mentioned improving some of the plans, and we talked about the Keystone 65 RX in terms of benefits. Anything you meant there in particular? You mentioned that you guys wanted to improve some benefits of the plans. What exactly were you referring to there?
All right. Well, we're going to have 3 zero premium options in Philadelphia and Bucks County for 2021. We've taken the OTC benefit and increased that. We're also taking a look at we took a look at our ancillary benefits of dental, vision, and hearing, improved that. We're expanding telemedicine, and we're also lowering other copays for our benefits. So those are all coming up. So your members, anybody you have with us right now, they're going to have a
Right.
positive ANOC, and then any prospects who may have chosen a different carrier because of benefits are going to look at us this year and could easily make the decision to come over given our improvements.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Now, this kind of has been talked about throughout here, but we know the brand. But I guess aside from the brand, what do you feel makes IBX stand out amongst its competitors? And is there anything you guys got, moving through the pipeline? I know we're not yet into AEP, but we're getting towards there, closer than some may think, even though we're in the heat of the summer. It's 100-degree days. We're in the middle of the summer, but AP is not too far away. So what are you guys doing in terms of preparing there? Certainly, if anything you want to say about what's going on to kind of tease, you certainly can. But in terms of what do you think IBX, what makes IBX stand out is what I'm trying to get out of this question, I guess.
Well, we have 80 years servicing just the southeastern Pennsylvania residents and agents. So you mentioned our brand. That's why we have that brand. We have 80 years of excellent service to our area.
Right.
And on top of that, we have a broker support, which is local. You have Jay Allen, DeColia Aglio, Celicia Charles, Tara Minasali. That's our broker care center. That's 4 people in our broker care center who are dedicated to you as an agent. Their goal is one call resolution, but basically you call them once with a member problem, you don't have to think about that again. They'll take care of that. They'll work with a member help advocate and work that problem to resolution. That's one of the things that we can provide that our competitors just can't, because we're local. So you call us, you're going to get the same person over and over and over again. So you develop that relationship with our broker care area.
That's really nice. That
Mm-hmm.
almost seemingly never happens.
Exactly. Yes.
So, in
It's
any
it's
walk
it.
of life, really, well, you could be talking about cable and calling, trying to get your cable fixed. That's not going to happen. You're going to have a different person every 10 seconds, even a
Yep, and they'll
utility bill or whatever.
they'll promise you the world, and you'll never hear from them again.
And then not
Because
only
they can do
that,
that.
but you have
Yep.
to go, if you have any issues, you got to read through the whole gamut and tell them the whole essay all over again before
Mm-hmm.
you could even have them up to speed on what's going on, because they have no idea. There's not really a coworker relationship. It doesn't appear. So to be able to have that remedied and to be able to call back in, it's your guy, you have a relationship, this person knows you. If you're talking to them for the third time, they're going to be aware of how those first 2 conversations went and at least have some notes there for them. That's fantastic, because that doesn't happen in almost any walk of life. Anytime you're calling anybody about anything, and I think that's something that we would all agree with. So that's definitely big. And again, I do want to reiterate, as we talked about in the top of the program here, this is a new thing here for us here at Neishloss and Fleming in terms of working with IBX, especially in terms of working further into the Philadelphia market. We are definitely putting our money where our mouth is in terms of a lead program that we have, a great one right now to get our agents started. And there's tons of reasons for agents to work with us at Neishloss and Fleming, especially working with this carrier. Aside from it is still our home state, the fact that we have the incredible service that we have and a reputation that you mentioned, but also MedicareCenter.com, Greenhouse, Snoozy, all these different programs. There's past podcasts that go into detail on those shows. There's webinars about those. Go to our nandfinc.com, so nandfinc.com, and you'll find all this information there, all those past shows, all those webinars with further detail on all those programs and what we really offer our agents, and can help IBX now with that relationship and see even further success in the Philadelphia market. So, Tor, I definitely appreciate the time here. Absolutely appreciate the time. I know you're a busy man with what's going on right now as we get closer to AEP and what's going on in the world. Um, just any final words in terms of what's coming through the pipeline? Any news that you want to break to us as we get towards this progressing in this relationship here as we close things out?
Number one thing is I'd say stay tuned for 2021. It's going to be an interesting year. Just with we have made some technological advancements this year. We're making
Okay.
the more advancements on our products. We're going to have a better product for agents to sell. Having having Neishloss and Fleming working with us is going to be a huge advantage as well. we're just really excited for this AEP. I think this year is going to be a phenomenal year, especially if you're a newer agent. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities out there because of the changing landscape. Another thing
Yeah,
I would like to mention, you may have a lot of brokers who don't sell Medicare Advantage at this time. Medicare Advantage is becoming more and more the plans to sell. Just the growth trajectory on Medicare Advantage, and the fact that we have almost 50% of the market in Philadelphia
wow.
and the 5 counties around it. You would, if you're selling Medicare Advantage, you have to sell Independence Blue Cross.
You really do. Yeah. And honestly, right now, I know there's some agents who have different opinions about it. You really have to, if you're going to be selling right now in the senior market, especially the way the world is in terms of the pandemic and the economy and kind of what's going on, and a lot of question marks around all of that, even though the industry is still thriving, moving forward, and this is a great time to get involved, you do have to be involved in the Medicare Advantage market and the Medicare Advantage side of things, because there are a lot of people out there who maybe that's where they want to go. They're going to feel more comfortability. They're going to be, wanting, that's going to be what they're going to be seeing. Maybe they can't afford on the med sup side. There's still a lot of quality plans. There's still a lot of ways where they can be taken care of. There's still a lot of, a lot of growth on that side of the market, that if you're avoiding it for whatever reason, then you're really going to kind of segment and segregate half the clientele, and maybe even more than half, because that's something that's going to be growing in the market as the industry continues to thrive right now moving forward. So everything happening in the world is kind of making the Medicare Advantage side of things even more important, especially just if you're trying to make money. And that's, at the end of the day, the two goals here for an agent are trying to make money and to serve the client and make things better for them and get them coverage. So that's what you're trying to do. You got to be on the Medicare Advantage side of things, certainly now. And if that's what you're trying to do in the Philadelphia market, not only if you're dealing with Medicare Advantage, but you got to be dealing with IBX. It really is a must. So Tor Heilman, the Medicare broker executive there for that area, as we're talking about Independent Blue Cross, none other than IBX. Thanks for joining me, man.
Hey, thank you very much, Mike. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Again, this is another edition of the Neishloss podcast, the NF podcast presented by Neishloss and Fleming and Integrity Marketing Group. I'm your host, Mike Asti. Until we meet again.